Manners maketh.
You already know from the title that we're diving into why Kingsman 4 is taking so long, as explained by Matthew Vaughn. Even though Taron Egerton recently told Screen Rant that both he and Vaughn are still hoping to make one more movie in the franchise, things haven't exactly been moving fast. So let's break down everything we know about the fourth film and what's causing the delay. As we know, Kingsman the Blue Blood has been in the works for what feels like forever. Matthew Vaughn has been talking about it since way back in 2017, right after Kingsman the Golden Circle came out. By 2019, Taron Egerton confirmed that the script was done, and in 2020, Vaughn even revealed the official title. It really seemed like things were moving forward, but then everything just kind of stopped. The biggest problem? A series of box office flops have made the future of the franchise pretty shaky. In October 2024, 20th Century Studios president Steve Asbell basically shut down any immediate plans for more Kingsman movies, even though Vaughn had been giving fans more optimistic updates. When asked about sequels, Asbell kept it blunt, saying there's no plans on doing them anytime soon. Meanwhile, the studio was busy pushing other big franchises like Alien, Predator, Avatar, and Agatha Christie adaptations, leaving Kingsman out of the mix. This definitely clashes with what Vaughn was saying just a few months earlier in July 2024, but let's be real, it's not a huge shock. Sure, Kingsman and Kingsman 2 did great at the box office, but The King's Man barely made $125 million worldwide, and Argylle was an absolute disaster financially. So, from the studio's perspective, it makes sense that they'd be hesitant about throwing more money into another Kingsman film when they've got safer bets elsewhere. Even with all that, there's still a glimmer of hope. Taron Egerton told Screen Rant that both he and Vaughn are still eager to do one more movie in the franchise. When asked about Asbell's comments, Egerton was careful with his words but didn't shut anything down. He said, "I don't think that necessarily means we won't do it. I think Matthew and I very much want to do one more. I want to do one more. And so while, we don't have a shoot date yet, I think it could still happen." Now, this isn't exactly a confirmation, but it does suggest that Asbell's comments were more about the studio's current focus rather than a hard no on the franchise. And since both the main star and the director are still on board, there's always a chance we'll get to see Eggsy back in action for one final mission. One big reason why Kingsman 4 is taking so long? Both Egerton and Vaughn have had packed schedules. In a recent interview with Collider, Vaughn explained that the film hasn't moved forward because Egerton is incredibly busy right now. That means any hopes of production starting this year are pretty much out the window. Vaughn put it bluntly. That'll be next year because Taron's bloody busy. He's doing another movie. The guy that did Blackbird, they're doing another big TV show, so I have to wait for his availability as well. That TV show he's talking about is Firebug, where Egerton is starring alongside Journey Smollett. It's an 8-episode series following a detective and arson investigator tracking down a pair of serial arsonists. But that's not the only thing keeping Egerton occupied. Since Kingsman 4 was first supposed to film back in 2019, then got pushed to 2022, and now isn't expected until at least 2025, Egerton has taken on a ton of other projects. He starred in the Apple TV Plus film Tetris, did the hit show Blackbird, played Elton John in Rocketman, and even lent his voice to Sing 2 and the Sandman podcast. Basically, he hasn't exactly been sitting around waiting for Kingsman to happen. Vaughn, meanwhile, has also been busy. He's been working on other Kingsman projects, got The King's Man released, and produced movies like Rocketman and Tetris, both of which starred Egerton. On top of that, he directed Argylle, which, as it turns out, is actually set in the Kingsman universe. So yeah, both of them have had their hands full. And it's not just Egerton and Vaughn who need to be available. Other returning cast members do too. Colin Firth, who plays Harry Hart, is expected to come back, but he's had a busy schedule as well. Since The Golden Circle, he's appeared in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, Mary Poppins Returns, 1917, and the drama series The Staircase. He's also attached to a new Sherlock Holmes series called Young Sherlock. So before Kingsman 4 can even begin filming, the schedules of all these key players have to align. As for what to expect from Kingsman 4, Vaughn has teased that it will be the final chapter in Eggsy and Harry's story. While not much has been revealed about the plot, it's expected to focus on Eggsy trying to find his purpose again while teaming up with Harry for one last adventure. It's still unclear if any other familiar faces from past movies will return. Given the franchise's style, the third movie will likely stick to its roots, a mix of over-the-top action, dark humor, and a touch of graphic violence. Every Kingsman movie so far has leaned into a playful yet brutal tone, and there's no reason to think the final installment will be any different. Expect an eccentric, Bond-style villain with some elaborate world-ending scheme, just like Samuel L. Jackson's Valentine or Julianne Moore's Poppy. Besides Kingsman 4, Vaughn has also mentioned a possible sequel to The King's Man, though there's no word on how far along that project is. As for a release date, since filming isn't happening until next year at the earliest, the movie probably won't hit theaters until at least 2026. By then, it'll have been 9 years since audiences last saw Eggsy and Harry, though whether that same amount of time will have passed in the Kingsman universe remains to be seen. Either way, while Kingsman 4 is still on track, it's clear we'll be waiting a while longer before it finally lands on the big screen. That said, I think that Kingsman the Blue Blood isn't just another sequel. It's the big send-off for Eggsy and Harry's story. Since the Golden Circle left things open-ended, there's a lot of ground to cover before wrapping up their journey. Vaughn has hinted that this final installment will dive deeper into their mentor-student turned father-son dynamic, which has been the heart of the franchise from the start. And let's be real, there are plenty of loose ends to tie up. With Kingsman now fully rebuilt after the Golden Circle, what's next for the organization? Will Eggsy finally take on a leadership role? Will we see any familiar faces from the Statesman side of things? There are so many ways this finale could go, and knowing Vaughn, he'll throw in some unexpected twists along the way. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.